I, Assistant Professor Varada Kulkarni, extend a warm welcome to you on behalf of Ministry of Education's Institution Innovation Council and Department of Zoology, Modern College of Arts, Science, Commerce, Autonomous, Shivaji Nagar, Pune. Today's event is about entrepreneurship as a career opportunity. It is going to be a motivational session by a successful entrepreneur, Dr. Chitra Panikar-Vanjare, Madam. In today's session, we have with us Principal Dr. Rajendra Zunzar Rao. He will be joining a bit late in the program. Also, we have Honorable Dr. Anjali Sardesai Madam, President of IIC, Head Animation Department and IQAC Coordinator, Modern College. As I said, resource person for today's program, we have with us a very dynamic, meritorious, and a sincere academician turned entrepreneur, Dr. Chitra Panikar-Vanjare Madam, Founder Director, Biologia Life Sciences, Ahmednagar. I welcome you all once again in today's session. To begin with today's program, I would request Dr. Anjali Sardesai Madam to brief us about Institution Innovation Council and shed some light on its activities.
Thank you so much, Varada Madam. Respected Principal Dr. Zunzar Rao Sir, respected Dr. Chitra Panikar Madam, all the staff members who are present in this particular meeting, all the dear students, a warm welcome to all of you on this event of session on entrepreneurship as a career opportunity. I'm very happy to mention over here that Institutional Innovation Council is an activity which is conducted in Modern College since last 2-3 years, and this activity is basically to promote the entrepreneurship among students, to promote the business ideas, their ideas which they come up with with them, and to help them out to materialize their ideas. This is the MHRD initiative that we are conducting in our college, and this has been proving us very helpful to help our students and to help our teachers as well. The teachers play the role of mentors for all the students who come up with the ideas. We have our one good proposal in our college that we call it as a Yuva Sanchodak scheme, so through which we call for the proposals from the students, research proposals, and these research proposals are mentored by the teacher guides, and these particular things, basically what we do with this is the students, they present their ideas, they work on their ideas, the college gives the funding to the students, and then with that they have to give the presentation as well at the end of that project. So this is the start that we have already worked with. This innovation council is conducting various activities to inculcate the entrepreneurship ideas, to inculcate the startup ideas, to inculcate the innovations among the students, to help them to complete their projects with the help of the infrastructure present in the college, with the help of the guidance of their respective teachers, and with the help of the financial support in some of the cases. So we arrange the financial support also for certain ideas. So these are the different things which we are working under IIC. In the first phase of this, what we are doing is we are arranging the motivational sessions for the students so that they can start working on this. So under this session, I once again welcome Dr. Chitra Panikar Madam to this particular session and to Modern College as well. Instead of wasting much time of her, I would conclude myself now, and I request Varada Kulkarni Madam to take over the charge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sardesai Madam. So as Sardesai Madam rightly said, this council works basically for creating innovative ideas for inculcating the skills that the students have in them and to turn them as a career opportunity. So as final year UG and PG students, they have various questions about which career avenues to pursue after formal education is complete. Where can their skill be used, their knowledge that is gained through the degree course can be used, and many more such questions. To answer all these questions that may have been lingering in their minds for some time, we have with us an eminent academician turned entrepreneur who will be enlightening all of us on entrepreneurship as a career opportunity. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker for today, Dr. Chitra Panikar-Vanjare. She has completed her MSc in zoology and PhD in biotechnology under the guidance of Dr. Dipti Devbakkar from Savitribai Phule Pune University. Her doctoral work includes study of DNA methylation in dipterans. While pursuing PhD, she mastered various techniques like DNA extraction, restriction mapping, RT-PCR, animal tissue culture, antibody production, also advanced techniques like microarray and bioinformatic analysis. She has been a meritorious student and has been a recipient of various fellowships like UGC CAS and also DST PERS Fellowship. She has presented her work in various national as well as international conferences and has 6 publications on her name. Also, she has a teaching experience of more than 5 years in biotechnology and in zoology. Currently, she is the founder director of a startup named Biologia Life Science located in Ahmednagar. This startup basically focuses on working in biological research, consultation, and also in the field of training and education sector. It is basically a platform set up by various young dynamic professionals working in the field of biology and having expertise in different biological disciplines. With this brief introduction, I welcome Dr. Chitra Madam in today's program and in our modern college. And I would now request you to start with your session. Before we start, Madam, I would like to make a small announcement for all the participants that are present that a link will be shared on the Google Meet chat window and also on the YouTube for the feedback of the events, which will be helpful for us to issue your certificates. Please fill in the link before the program gets over. Over to you, Chitra Madam. Thank you.
So is my screen visible?
Yes, Madam. Yes.
Oh. Thank you so much, Varda, for such a delightful and nice introduction, especially to be called as an academician turned entrepreneur. So first of all, I would like to thank all the participants for joining this session and to take the opportunity, the first and the foremost, I would like to thank the management of Modern College, the principal, Dr. Zunzar Rao, the head of the Department of Zoology, Narendra Naidu sir, and Institution Innovation Council Center, and not the least, Dr. Yugandhar Chande for recommending my name for this platform. So I am extremely happy and overwhelmed to join for this session to present myself as a young entrepreneur in this platform, even though I'm just a year old as an entrepreneur. If you see my slide, I am a founder and director of Biology Life Science, but above that, I'm also an alumni of Modern College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Shivajinagar. So it feels very great to be on the other side of the platform when I was on your side once upon a time. So let's begin with my session. So today's topics that I would be covering is the definition of an entrepreneur, what is our understanding, the biggest worry, and the characteristic features of an entrepreneur, case studies, and our story, that is Biology Life Science. So yesterday, I guess you all had a session on entrepreneurship where you have already covered technical aspects of an entrepreneur. Now, what I'm going to talk about or what I'm going to highlight about is a very basic concepts of entrepreneurship, which I came across when I was into this process. So the first question that triggers in our mind when we read all technical definitions, is what is entrepreneurship. The word basically originates from a French word entrepreneur, which means to undertake. To undertake any aspect of our life which is for the growth or economic growth of our country. A very well-versed person, that is J.A. Schumpeter. He is an Austrian political economist who once defined entrepreneur as a person who brings innovative change and is an integral part of our country for the economic growth, which is very important. Now, this becomes the technical definition. What do we understand by entrepreneurship? For me, entrepreneurship is nothing but connecting, coordinating the productive resources through your own ideas and building up a venture for others to carry forward the things. Now, the question that comes is, what kind of ideas? Should it be different? Should it be unique? How to narrow down one such idea when you have so many ideas popping around in your head? Then the last thing is the idea around us somewhere? Or are we looking into this idea and how would we realize it? So to answer this, the first and the foremost thing is to go back to your roots. As an entrepreneur is an expert in things which makes life very difficult. So what does he do? He makes it simpler. So every successful business that we see around us, they try to fix things for people. Bigger and original ideas happen to take or become more successful. So if you look around yourself, all the problems or the big problems are handed over or are taken care by the biggest tycoons of the business world. So then the question comes in our mind, what can we add when it is already being taken care of? Where are we stand and where do we stand to implement something of our own? So the basic question that we need to ask ourselves to get this idea is, where are we unhappy in our day-to-day life? So where are we facing problems in our day-to-day life? Narrow down things. Your unhappiness becomes the future of your business. So what one can do is to learn why are you unhappy and find a solution so that you become an healing agent to yourself as well as others. This is how you can narrow down on the idea to start an entrepreneurship. Okay, so moving to the next slide. The biggest worry, like all of us, we come from middle class or upper middle class family, but when it comes to business, the biggest worry that comes in our mind is, how much money do we require for this? Will it be profitable to put such amount of money? Is it risky? Should I take risk or should I not take risk? Now, the basic myth that we carry with ourselves is, you need a lot of money to start a business. No, we do not need to have a lot of money. We need to have minimum amount of money and a simple idea. And all the motivation that you need to put in that, if you have in yourself, you can become a successful entrepreneur. Now, when we talk about risk, should I term risk as the right term? No, it is not risk. It is calculative risk, where you study your market, you know your clients, you know the requirements of your clients, you know what they need. One thing is, if you know all these things, the risk automatically narrows down and you can focus only one single thing, that is, what is your expertise in this entrepreneurship? What are you good at? What can you do in this? So if you are good at that and if you carry your expertise ahead, you can obviously become a successful entrepreneur. So coming back to the slide, so entrepreneur, how would you define it? A person who makes things happen. So it's all about making things happen in the right direction. Now, when we have seen what is an entrepreneur, the next thing that we need to understand are, what are the characteristic features of a successful entrepreneur or an entrepreneur? So the first and the foremost thing is hard work. working hours are not defined when it's your own business. When you have a 9 to 5 job, you know that you punch in at 9 and you leave at 5. So your working hours are in that window period of 9 to 5. But when you are an entrepreneur and you are running your own business, there are no time limits. There are no working hours. There are no personal time. Everything is dependent on you, and you have to take care of every small aspect of your business. So it is time consuming. So you have to have a lot of hard work that you are ready to put in to become an entrepreneur, and also to put in the hard work throughout your lifetime. The hard work is not to be put only in the beginning, but endless hard work to a little less hard work throughout the journey of your entrepreneurship. The next thing that we require is sincerity and perseverance. The success of an enterprise basically depends on the sincerity of the people who are working behind this enterprise. If a person is sincere, he or she will move on heaven and earth to make it possible. You will do anything to make it possible. But along with sincerity, is sincerity alone enough? No, it's not alone enough. You need to have a or possess perseverance. They do not, the people who become or who want to become successful entrepreneurs, they do not give up very easily. All their efforts, even if it goes in, even it fails, they take at most care, as well as again boost up their energy to bring back all the efforts back again. They undergo a lot of failures in their life. See, entrepreneurship is not only about success, it is also associated with the failures that you come across. So it's about all the failures, and do not become disheartened when you come across these failures, and boost your energy and strike back once again. The next and the very important feature is to have a vision. Entrepreneurs should have a foresight. That means they should be aware of your surroundings. You have to be very alert, well read. You should visualize the changes that is taking place in the market of your business, the consumer attitude, the taste of the consumer, the technological developments that are taking place, and to take necessary and timely actions according to the change. Because see, you cannot be stagnant when you are in a business. You cannot be stagnant. You have to bring changes. And the change is always with respect to the customers or to the clients. It's never with respect to only us. It's always with respect to the growth and the clients that you are dealing with. The next feature is self-reliance and independence. When one starts a business, one has to be independent. This is a very common and very important quality a successful entrepreneur should have. Basically, what happens many times is the entrepreneurs are, or they turn out to be entrepreneurs just because they do not like to be guided by somebody. They do not like to follow rules which are set by somebody else for them. So basically, they like to work independently, think independently, and they resist to be pigeonholed. They do not like to be caged. They like to be independent in all the matters of the business that they are handling. So that is one quality. The quality of optimism or optimistic behavior. Successful entrepreneurs should be positive about everything and anything that comes across their world or comes across their way. They cannot be getting disturbed about the current failures that they come across. They have to be optimistic, and they should be optimistic enough to find the way in the future out of those failures and learn from the failures. No, it's very important to learn from one's failure. Okay. Next is planning and organize. People who are unorganized, or people who cannot manage things on their own, they are very bad entrepreneurs. You have to be planned and organized to become a successful entrepreneur. Now, since I'm talking about entrepreneurship and I'm just 1 year old, but still I always believe there are many people who start with startups and small businesses, but very few succeed. That is because of this feature: planning and organization and foresightedness. That they lack these features and they totally depend on others for these things. That's the reason the business fails. Because you have to not only have an ability to plan and organize things of your own firm, but you also need to have an ability to plan and bring things that are required. All the required sources have to be linked and bring it to your company for setting up an example to the enterprise and also to making it use in a very feasible way. So these are the basic features one needs to look or one needs to have to become a successful entrepreneur. There are many features, but I have just penned down these features which I feel are the primary or the very important one in to become a successful entrepreneur. Now, there are other features like to be innovative. Now, all of you have come across when, as Anjali ma'am rightly said, that they have a division where you write projects and submit. So the projects that get selected obviously will be something very innovative, different ideas. Like innovative ideas here do not mean they are very, upgraded or very high class or very techno or savvy. No, very simple ideas can also be innovative. So entrepreneurs are the people who initiate innovative activities to produce goods and to satisfy their customers or clients. They have to be innovative in such a way that they have to meet the demand and the requirement of their clients to fill their satisfaction. Okay. Now there are research centers and institutes like Tata, Birla, Kirloskar. They are setting up examples in these innovative activities, which are taken up by the entrepreneurs in our country when they outsource their these center activities to other or small entrepreneurs as well. So the next character is risk. Now we all know whatever we do, we have to take risk, right? So a calculative risk is an integral part of any new business. It is an important factor because the entire business or the entire startup is dependent on that risk that you are taking. So it's necessary that the person who is becoming an entrepreneur or who wills or wishes to become an entrepreneur has to be adventurous, has to be very calm, and a risk-taking personality, so that he should not, he should not be devastated by failures, or he should not he cannot take up failures at all. These kind of people are very risky in a startup. You have to have patience, you have to have cool-headed and a risk-taking personality when you take up entrepreneurship. Because as I said in the previous slides that entrepreneurship is not only about success. It is also the failures that you come across along with it and that you learn from that. So, and the foremost and the very important one in today's world is public relations. Now, you all being students, you all are more into the public relation, the media, that is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all these things, right? So these platforms play a very pivotal role in the success or the failure of an entrepreneur. A successful entrepreneur has to have cordial relation with his or her customers to gain continued patronage and support from them. And these media or these platforms are always best for them to keep on communicating with their customers and clients, and for customer care platforms as well. So the entrepreneur must also maintain not only with his clients and customers, but it is obvious that he should have a very healthy and a good relation with his employees as well. And he should keep on motivating them to higher levels of efficiency rather than demoralizing them or cutting their wages for not performing well. He should be part of the performance. He should be taking care of every single employee's problems and the problems they are facing when they are dealing with the clients. So if an entrepreneur projects himself into this level, then he can be a successful entrepreneur. Now, this is communication skill, which is again in today's world a very important part. Communication skill is a secret of the success of the most entrepreneurs. Now, I can tell you an example. Many entrepreneurs are not very good at communication skill. So what they do, they appoint somebody for this. Okay, when they are not good at that, and in the journey of their entrepreneurship, they slowly learn communication skills. So good communication skill actually allows them to put their points more effectively with clarity, and it helps to win or the trust of the customers and the clients they are dealing with. So you need to have a very clear communication skill and also transparency with your clients. Now, there are different types of entrepreneur. Entrepreneur classification was first done by Clarence Danhoff. He was a research assistant for this business administrative courses. So according to him, the first classification is about innovative entrepreneur. Looking at the image, all of you know that he is Steve Jobs. Okay, so the innovative entrepreneur is a person who is highly innovative with ideas, always coming up with new ideas and highly talented. They can introduce new product in the market every now and then with the technology that they have built by their own. They break the monopoly in the market. They also have an ability to build a new market, and they are very different from the other entrepreneurs with respect to their ideas. They're very clear in their ideas. One such example of an innovative entrepreneur is Steve Jobs and Wozniak, who co-founded Apple in 1976. The second one is adoptive entrepreneur. Adoptive entrepreneur, what they do is they adopt already existing successful innovations and they just make few changes. Like the online shopping was already there, by Amazon, and Flipkart. When they came, they just took over some ideas from Amazon and just changed few and built up a new venture. So there is no new innovation as such. They were already doing what others are being doing with some changes. They are updated. They know what the market is. They avoid taking risk. That is the reason they always adopt the features which are already available. The biggest example of adoptive entrepreneur is Flipkart, which was founded in October 2007 by Sachin Bansal and Binny Bansal. And both of them are an alumni of Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. And they were working earlier with Amazon, and they left Amazon and then they started Flipkart. The third one is a Fabian entrepreneur. Are the people who never take risk towards new methods. They always, even if, or they move to new methods only if they think that it is profitable. If it is not profitable, they follow the same traditional methods in their lifetime. But they are very cautious and skeptical people. They are always dominated by customs, traditions, religion, and the past practices with their ancestors or their previous generations used to follow. For example, these are Fabian entrepreneurs. Drone entrepreneurs, they follow the very age-old practices under all circumstances. Even if there is profit, even if there is no profit, they're not going to change. They never take risk at any cost. There is no new method which is adopted by these people. For example, the Koyo factory in Kerala and the incense stick factory, they follow the same traditional method. No matter if there is loss, there is profit, it doesn't matter to them at all. They use all the traditional practices that they have been following all over the years. So these are the four types of entrepreneurs which come under Danhoff classification. Other than Danhoff, there are many more. One such is institutional entrepreneurs. Institutional entrepreneurs is a self-interested person who can obtain economic benefits through institutions that he has promoted by himself or he has built by himself. In other words, he should be described as an individual who can put an effort to establish, reorganize the property rights, and bring out other institutions to join him to exploit the economic opportunities. And the image itself tells you it's Infosys. The image is Infosys. So Narayan Murthy is one such institutional entrepreneur. The second one are the inherited entrepreneurs. The inherited entrepreneurs are the ones who inherit their family business from the previous generations. They enjoy the accumulated experience from the previous generations and they add to whatever has been already there. They built up new ventures, but on the basis of what was already inherited by them. Then, technological entrepreneurs. These are very technically sound and trained entrepreneurs. They use their technical skills in establishing and manufacturing the units, improvising on it with the latest level of technology, and which means that they are updated in respect to their technology. So these are the more technical entrepreneurs. There are other entrepreneurs on the basis of development. Like, for example, the first generation entrepreneurs. They are the entrepreneurs who do not possess any entrepreneurial background. They are new to the field and they start an industrial unit on their own by their own innovative skills. So Infosys is also one kind of first generation entrepreneur. Then you have a classical entrepreneur. A classical entrepreneur is a stereotype entrepreneur whose aim is to maximize his own economic returns at the level of consistent and with the help of survival of his unit or the company without being bothered about the element of growth of his enterprise. He's just, what do you say? He just wants to be sustaining his firm without any growth. Then you have a very motivated entrepreneurs that are the modern entrepreneurs. The modern entrepreneurs, they drive the innovation and have made a tremendous impact on the world of business. They have changed the next generation thinkers and have actually motivated them with new ideas. One such and a very good example is Brin and Page, the co-founder of your Google. That means you keep on searching. That Google platform or the algorithm was written by Brin and Page, where they accidentally met in a university, and that is how they developed Google. There is another very interesting person along with Brin and Page is Kevin Plank. Kevin Plank is a person who built the Under Armour suit for speed skating in Olympic Games. And he has earned billions of money with his idea of building an Under Armour suit, which he used to do in the storehouse of his grandmother. That is where he started doing this. So he is also a successful entrepreneur. Now, when we start with successful entrepreneurs, for me, or as we have, the title of our topic is entrepreneurship and career opportunities. I have my personal favorites for case studies, which I have taken, which I would like to share with you all as students. So the first example is of Bhavesh Agrawal. You all know Bhavesh Agrawal. The image behind him says what he is. Bhavesh Agrawal is actually an IITian who has completed Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Bombay in the year 2008. He was initially working as an research associate with Microsoft after his bachelor's degree. And he was earning there well. He had also 2 patents and have published many research papers in the field when he was there in Microsoft. But he was also a blogger. He used to write blogs then. He left Microsoft and started a very small short-time holiday tour business. Okay. He started a short-time holiday tour business. He borrowed a car from the taxi service and he traveled from Bangalore to Bandipur. Where he was traveling, in between the forest, the driver got down, he pointed a gun, and he borrowed all the money that they had, all he had in the car. He was totally devastated and scared, and this incident made Bhavesh to think this is what even the other commuters are facing. So we should do something to resolve this problem. So then he decided to start a new business, a startup. And he discussed these ideas with his friends, and we started a new startup without naming it much. And then he had no family support. No, the parents didn't support him at all because he was an engineer working, and they used to say, you're an engineer working as a travel agent. So there was no support. But after his hard work, a vision, today he has established his startup as Ola Cabs and one of the very successful entrepreneur that we know of. Now the thing that we're coming is Ola do not own any of the cars. They only rent cars. They bought all the rented cars. They do not have their own cars. Okay. And rest about Ola, we all know. We all travel by Ola, so we know about Ola. So see, what I'm telling you here, I told you in the previous slide, a new idea. Idea comes up from failures that you have faced in your life. One such failure Bhavesh faced was during traveling. He was being robbed of the money that he had. That brought up that one click brought an idea of Ola cabs in his mind. So this is what, as students, it's very important to go back to your roots and think the problem that you are facing that you can come up with. The second and a very good example is of Ritesh Agarwal of Oyo Rooms. So we all know he's a young founder and CEO of Oyo Rooms, and he is a school dropout. He was brought up in a business family in Odisha, and he started coding, okay, right from the age of 8 years. And by the time he reached his class 10th, he was ready to take up coding as his career opportunity. Later, he wanted to join an IIT. So for training, he preferred to go to Kota. So he somehow managed to go to Kota and he started studying there. And in the spare time, he used to travel all the way from Kota to Delhi. And in that journey, he also wrote a very famous book, which is called as Indian Engineering College, a complete encyclopedia of top 1,000 engineering college, which was a very huge success in Flipkart. During his traveling, he used to stay in PGs, budget hotels. He used to stay out as odd bed and breakfast places in Delhi. And he used to sneak into the conferences which were organized by great entrepreneurs. Since he did not have much money, so he used to just sneak in to meet them, to talk to them, and to understand how to become an entrepreneur. The biggest thing that he always believed or he thought was, he realized that the budget hotels, the so-called budget hotels in India, did not meet the very basic needs of a budget traveler. So then he thought of starting a first venture in the name of Oravel. He started a startup with the name Oravel. Now, what was Oravel meant for? Oravel was meant for short-term and mid-term rentals for bed, breakfast, private rooms, and serviced apartments. He got several scholarships, and one such important scholarship that Ritesh received was the Thiel Fellowship by the investor Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, all of you know, he's an investor in Facebook. So with the fellowship that he got, he found a new confidence in him. And with that, he relaunched the Oravel as Oyo Rooms. And today, you know that Oyo Room is one successful platform which brings the information about all the good places together in one platform. So these are the two studies. And the next two, which I personally like, is about Panindra Sama. I don't know how many of you have heard of Panindra Sama. The image behind tells you he's a CEO of Red Bus. Now, he is a Hyderabadi entrepreneur. who made life easy for us for commuting by, online ticket booking easy for us. The initial idea of Red Bus was to set up a site that allowed the customers to book tickets in location independent manner, which was triggered by an idea which he got in 2005 when he was not able to meet his family during Diwali just because he couldn't get tickets. So when he didn't get tickets, in order to continue with his job or just not bother about what happened, he thought of going back to the bus owners, and he actually found out the process of ticket booking and finally how it reaches the customer. Entire cycle he followed, and to his interest, he found that the entire system was very, very complex. So he went back to his batchmates from BITS Pilani. He discussed the idea to venture Red Bus as a part-time job. Initially, they faced a lot of problems because none of them were from a web-based background. So they had no idea about it. They had to research, read, learn, as well as figure things on their own. And that is how they established redbus.in, which is now a good relief to commuters like us, travelers, and employment for the travel agents, as well as it has also increased the market size for the buses. The last and the very important person that I would like to talk about is Vijay Shekhar Sharma. He is different from all of them. Why is he different? First of all, he is the founder of Paytm, which has gained more importance when we are in lockdown, right? When we were in lockdown, that is the time we realized about Google Pay, Paytm, and that is there in every corner of our village. Now, even if it's in a village, a city, a town, so it's in every corner of our country. Now, Vijay Shekhar Sharma is actually a man who owns 3 billion today and has started his venture with only rupees 10 in his pocket. He belongs to a very small village of Aligarh, and his father was a school teacher. His entire education was in Hindi medium, so he did not know how to read and write English. That was the greatest drawback that Vijay had. But he started learning language because he knew that for further education, he needs to learn English. So he started borrowing books from his friends, and started reading old magazines as well. He soon joined the engineering college in Delhi, where he was very bad. He turned out to be very bad in studies, even though he was very bright in his school time, and he stopped attending colleges. Now, his loss of interest in engineering was a gain for him because that was the beginning towards entrepreneurship. He was very inspired by Yahoo, and he wanted to join Stanford just because Yahoo was established in Stanford. But again, the biggest problem was English. Because he didn't know English, he was very scared to go to Stanford. So that idea was also dropped. He, along with his college mates, built a content of management system, and he published, and which got a huge, applaud by the Indian Express, and they featured him as the founder of content of management system, etc., etc. And they started making it or turning it into a small venture. Later on, he took, because of that article that came up in Indian Express, he got a job in MNC. But the venture all went in vain because all his friends, they ditched him. They took away all the money that they had earned from it. And again, he became bankrupt. So then he launched a parent company of our Paytm, that is 197, where he started experiments related to advertisement, commerce, and content for payment ecosystems. He couldn't get much funding to elaborate or to build up a much more bigger platform for Paytm. So he had to raise his money on his own, just because of his ability to address each and every problem of his customer and providing 24/7 customer service, he could gain the trust of all the clients and customers he was working with. And that was the beginning of Paytm, and his Vijay and his team finally have become $1 million company, which was raised from just rupees 10. So these are the case studies, and I presented this case studies because every single person is unique in this, and they did not have an earlier background of all these business. All of them are innovative. All of them are innovative. They tried to figure out the problem they faced and they switched on to a venture. As I previously told you, that it clicks when you actually come to know what the problem that you are facing in your day-to-day life. The idea may not be very big, or maybe it is not accepted by people in the beginning, but yes, they will accept it as and when they come across it and they find it more better than any other source. So please do think over it. When you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to think about these aspects. Coming back to our story from the case studies we have done, biology or life science originated, or the idea clicked in the canteen of University of Pune. This is a place when we were all doing our PhD, we used to come for lunch. We used to go for lunch rather. And this is a place where we used to sit and crib about our experiments, crib about what our life is about, and how we are having problems in our PhDs, and what should we do, who's not helping us, who's there, etc., etc., etc. So when we used to sit here and discuss about things, we all used to feel that the problems that we are facing in PhD, apart from the guidance that we get from our guides, but when we have to outsource our things, or we have to take help from other companies, the charges are so high that the student or a PhD student, now you have a lot of fellowship and scholarship, but at that time when we were doing our PhD, we had a very reasonable or a decent amount of money that we used to get. So it was very difficult for us to outsource some of the part which we are not able to do in the laboratories. So we had to outsource this. But the money was so big, they used to demand huge amounts, which was not possible for us to pay. So finally, what we used to do, we used to hunt for the problem. We used to learn it. We used to go and learn it and come back and solve our problems. And also, there were our guides were there to help us out. But there are certain times when we need to do it ourselves. So we decided that someday in our life, when we move ahead and we have a decent amount of money, we would like to start something called a venture, a platform for students where they can come and get their work done or outsource their work at a very less amount of money, which can be afforded by a student. That is how biology or life science idea was clicked in the table in a canteen. Biology or life science is an LLP which was started and established in January 2020. It's not like 16th we thought of biology or life science and we started on 17th. No, we had a plan of starting biology. So the entire history, the survey, the research was going on behind, but we had not put it on a paper. So we had done our research. We did our homework very well before we started with biology or life science. Now, when I talk about biology or life science, I would like to tell you that we restricted to expertise that we have. We didn't want to expand immediately. So we restricted to biology as a field. I would like to mention here, in biology, there are many subjects. I myself am a molecular biologist. There are many subjects that have been taught in our college life. And the most neglected and the most, ignorant subject that a student thinks is taxonomy. I, being from modern college, we had a very good staff in zoology as well as botany department. I would mention the names here. We had Dr. Hemant Ghate, the former HOD of zoology department, where he taught us taxonomy. He taught us how to collect insects, which in TYBSE and SYBSE we were not aware of. And he taught us how there is, how you need to know what what is around you. You need to know the names. The same way we had Gandhi ma'am, Gandhi sir, even Junjar Rao sir was there in botany department there. And they used to give us these small assignments and experiments that we had to explore ourselves. Okay. There was no, there were no marks for it. There was no formal training for it. They left everything on us. And we actually, a group of students, we enjoyed it. That's how our roots were mentored right in our graduate level that your college is right now doing. We did it, we did it at that time in an informal way. Now it's been formalized. So that is the roots, somewhere it was there within us. So after we established biology or life science, suddenly, the pandemic came and everything came to an end in March 2020. There was a complete shutdown, a lockdown. Before that, we had a plan of 6 months which was ready. What courses to run, what hands-on experiments to run, what things we have to do. Everything was planned, but everything was planned offline. We did not have, or we had no idea about the lockdown. So then, the moment it was announced a lockdown and looking at other countries, we learned that we are going to have a lockdown for at least 2 or 3 months. It's not going to end in a day. So immediately we transferred all our offline courses and changed all the scenario into online version. And we planned our first and the most successful online course as scientific writing workshop in April 2020. From March to April, we designed all the courses that we can take online, and we converted all the platforms into an online success story. And you will not believe it, it was a blessing in disguise for us. We, without spending much money on our advertisements and social medias, the participants who joined in our workshops were our advertisers. I can vouch, or I'm very proud to say this, that we completed 15 workshops where we trained or we helped 800 participants, not only from Maharashtra state, but from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and even there were students who were coming from, we had students from Malaysia, we had students from Ireland. There were many different countries the students joined in. And see, these workshops, okay, everybody do take online workshops. There is nothing new in it. But the innovative thing was, people charged 5,000 and 4,000 for a workshop, and we charged 500 and 1,000 or maximum 1,200 rupees from a student, which is affordable at today's, and we gave the same quality of work by reputed companies, and we did the same job, we did the same, we put the same efforts. I'm not saying that we didn't charge that much because we were a startup. No, the entire aim of Biology or Life Science was to become a platform for students at an affordable price, where they can pay at afford. They will not have to pay a lot of money. They can spend a little from their pocket money and learn something. Secondly, the workshops were not like the workshop is over and we have no connection with the participants. We had provided a platform where the participants can, even after the workshop, they can write to us anytime when they face problem in those related workshops that they had joined in for. For outreach, we also conducted 9 Sunday biodiversity talks where around 1,500 participants, even from schools and junior colleges, used to join. Biology or Life Science is a government-recognized startup working in the field of biodiversity, ecology, and environment. We do the faunal surveys, animal identification, environmental monitoring, data analysis, and visualization in biology or life science. We also provide support for biological data, especially using R and past statistical software. GIS software, Diva GIS, QGIS, image analysis softwares like ImageJ, which yesterday it got over, Inkscape and GIMP for MSc and PhD students, and also research associates who are associated with the industries. We also provide scientific editing services and technical expertise to write reports, because that is a place where many of the students or even professionals, it's time taking for them. They're not able to do. They have a lot of data and they don't know what to do. So they come to us and we make their job easier. So when I said startup, a startup is a young company which is founded by one or more entrepreneurs to develop a unique product or service and bring it to our market. So our uniqueness was our awareness of taxonomy and our awareness of ecology and biodiversity. That is our strength. And we used our strength to become or to establish a venture. By its nature, typical startup tends to start initial funding from the founders or from friends and family. So we do not take any loan or anything from any bank. We can put minimum amount of money from our own pockets to start a startup. Now, LLP here means, as you know, private limited, everybody knows. LLP means a limited liability partnership. It is a partnership in which one or all the partners have limited liability. They exhibit elements of partnerships as well as corporations. In an LLP, one partner cannot blame the other. So one partner is not responsible or liable for another partner's misconduct or negligence. And the biggest feature of LLP is you can continue to exist irrespective if you keep on changing your partners, which is not possible when you are a private limited or any other type. Biology and life science, these are the training workshops that we have conducted, and we have trained successfully more than 800 participants. There are few participants from Modern College as well who had joined, and they have done an excellent job. They have also joined as interns with us, and we have an intern program where we train students on site and off site as well. So they have done tremendously good, and I'm happy to say their work is going to get published. So biology and life science have performs research and conservation activities, especially biomonitoring of eutrophicated and disturbed habitats, community ecology of freshwater pools, biomonitoring of Pashan Lake and ARI Quarry in Vetal Tekdi, Pune is also done by us. Biomonitoring of Mula River, Pune, and freshwater invertebrates of Ahmednagar and Maharashtra. That is, we are currently doing it. And all the results that we get from the above work are published in international journals of great reputation. And new species to science and new species distribution records and methodologies are also described by our team members. And this is our core team, who are like Dr. Samir, Deepali Karnar is also my partner. Dr. Samir Padre is a principal scientist. Dr. Nikhil Modak is a consultant. Dr. Mihir Kulkarni is also a consultant. Dr. Shruti Paripatidar, Prashant Ingve, who has completed his MSc and joined as a research assistant. And this is a photo of our laboratory. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time and listening to this talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. I'm sure this session was about the do's and don'ts on being a successful entrepreneur. Also, the success stories that you shared with us were of great motivation. But the success story of your enterprise was a bit more inspiring. Also, we can say that this particular session was about how to start an enterprise and how about perseveringly you need to build it continuously. I think this was a takeaway message for all of us from today's session. Now we can say that this session is open for questions. I request all the students to either unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can type your question in the Google Meet chat box.
Are there any questions?
Yes, please, students, any questions?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Devankar here. Ma'am, I just want to ask you that as you told about the various workshops you have conducted for this online session. So,
Yeah.
ma'am, will it be means when we will be going to the college and then there will be some kind of workshops we will be able to do something like that? Will there be something like that or it will be just on online?
No, no, no. See, as I told you, we had planned offline workshops where we would call you in a particular, suppose if we do a tie-up with Modern College or we take a space in Pune and we would have called you there. So we had decided and planned something like that. But since it was lockdown and due to pandemic, to be on a safer side, all these workshops were considered as hands-on training, online training. Okay, so now since the lockdown has moved on and we have moved a little ahead from the pandemic, we are planning to take offline courses as well. So if you can see in my slide, we have a website of Biologia. So do write to us if you wish. And I would also suggest students, if you have any tailor-made course, we have designed most of our courses that was suggested by our participants. Okay, they actually told us that they want this workshop, so that is how we made a tailor-made course, and we have done these workshops. So even if you want us to run a workshop for you, we are always there for you, and we'll plan it accordingly, so you can write to us.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome. Any more questions?
Any more questions? Uh, yes, any more questions, participants? Okay. I think, ma'am, that was it from the participant side.
Yeah.
Uh, we will be happy to be collaborated with you in future. If anything comes up, we will surely talk to you about it, and we can work something together in modern college.
Yes, sure, sure.
Yes.
We could be have further questions, so I would be pleased to help you in any of these aspects. Thank you so much.
Yes. I would make a small appeal to all the participants to just switch on your video camera for a few seconds so that we can just take a screen capture, as we cannot take group photo like we would have taken if it was a offline program. We'll just take a screen capture so that we can have a memory with the speaker. Please switch on your video camera just for 2 seconds. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so coming to the end of the program, I would like to thank Ministry of Education's Institutions Innovation Council and Department of Zoology, Modern College, Art, Science, Commerce for this innovative idea, and also for the opportunity that the students got to listen from Dr. Chitra Madam. I would also like to thank Principal Dr. Rajendra Zunzar Rao sir for his constant motivation and support. I would extend my thank you to Dr. Anjali Sardesai Madam for her participation and support in this activity. I would also thank Dr. Professor Narendra Naidu, Head Department of Zoology, and a big thank you finally to today's speaker, Dr. Chitra Panikar-Vanjare Madam, for this session. A special mention to Professor Sameer Nerlekar sir for the wonderful design of the flyer and for his help in coordination and management of the program. Lastly, thank you to all the students and staff members for being a wonderful audience and for gracing the program. So I think the program is officially over.